Welcome, everybody, and happy Monomotivation Monday. Welcome to this episode of the Coach V Show, your Hollywood radio show for personal development, as we are featuring brother LeRoy Wolfgram of the renowned 80s band and top 40 hits band from the 80s, the Jets. His story is absolutely inspiring. His life lessons that he's going to be talking about his father and having all these world tours and success. But it comes with a lot of drama, and there's a lot of struggle and failure along the way to this road of success. And in that, I would, as LeRoy will during this episode, encourage you to not quit, because success is failure turned inside out in the silver tint in this thing called doubt. And you never can tell how close you are, because it may be right here, but seem so far. But stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. I hope you enjoy this episode. And now a word from our sponsor.
Soles is more than just for saving your floors. It also prevents heel bruises and pains from unbalanced cleats.
Hi, my name is Daniel Bruckner. I'm a private practice pediatrician here in Southern California, as well as the chair of pediatrics at Providence Cedars-Sinai Tarzana Hospital, and a good friend of Wendy's and also the pediatrician of her children. And I'd like to take this time to support her product, Soles. I think it's an amazing product that will benefit children greatly. And every day we see kids come from soccer practice, things like that. They don't want to take off their cleats, so they come in and I've seen accidents, I've seen sprained ankles, I've seen hurt heels, and I think that this Soles product will really help prevent those from happening, not only as a pediatrician, but also as a consumer. I can't wait to get the product for myself and for my children. I think it's something that should be owned by every athlete across the country, and I really hope that everyone goes and buys it and enjoys it. Thank you.
Soles will have memory foam and TPE mesh that will wrap around the cleats. After showing my product to my professional friends, I realized one thing. This isn't a product people want, it's a product people need. Soles, taking you from the cleats to the streets.
Welcome to the Coach V Show, your Hollywood radio show for personal development with expert insights and interviews to help you, me, and we work to be our best and live our best life. Powered by Island City, where the beach meets the streets, here on the Coach V Show and broadcast from Dash Radio Studios, Hollywood, California. And I thank you all for tuning in. Today we are featuring LeRoy Wolfgram, who he is a results-oriented professional in the field of music and video/film editing, social media content creator, and business marketing. He is a passionate leader and team player, and grateful for all the opportunities and work experience he's been a part of to bring much of all he has in his talents to the table with those that he works with. He's a self-proclaimed optimist and sees all things with a cup half full and ready to take on the challenges with a can-do attitude. He takes any assignment he is given with full 100% efforts and strives for the success of any collaboration, business, or venture that he is working with. I am super excited, and I am glad to have an opportunity to feature one of my favorite people, bands, as I grew up listening to this music, and being that they are Tongan and he is the co-founder of the Jets. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, your boy, LeRoy Wolfgram. LeRoy, welcome to the show.
Hey, well, glad and blessed to be here, man.
Man, so exciting, so exciting. There's so many of us that know your music, that have played your music, that continue to stream your music today. LeRoy, tell us, what's your story and what's your genesis point, brother LeRoy?
I guess I could start from the very beginning. You know, it has been a trip and a half for my whole life. I was born in Tonga Islands, and I immigrated here with my parents when I was just 3 months old. I was still in my diapers. You know, moved here in October of '65, and basically started, I mean, I guess what you call, from an immigrant's point of view, the new life, the dream, right here in America, you know, and I'm so proud of this country. And so that's how it all started, you know, and my dad was got any kind of job he could get, you know what I mean? It was just an amazing story. And he just went at it and went for the American dream. Mm-hmm. And we settled in the Salt Lake area. And then we also moved around a little bit. We lived in San Diego for a little time, then San Francisco. A couple of my siblings sibling was born there. One was born in San Diego. And then we eventually moved back to Salt Lake City. And so as we started, more kids were coming, I'm actually the oldest of 17 kids. And
say that again, LeRoy. 17?
Yes, I am the oldest of 17 kids. And so my parents just kept having us, and, money was getting tight. Got to feed all these mouths, figure out a way to, feed everybody. And, my dad he had a lot of goals. My dad was a bodybuilder. And he, when he was in Tonga, he made little, through cement, he would make his own barbells and worked out. And, he was just a driven person. And anyway, when he came here, he kept up that and was involved with a lot of the, weightlifting. And he actually became Mr. Utah in 1968. And he would tell us the stories when he met Arnold Schwarzenegger and a lot of these weightlifters. And in fact, he borrowed his shorts to Arnold. Arnold won competition, but it was just, I was so happy. My dad is that kind of guy that just, if he believes in something, he's going to go for it. And so, of course, as we were getting older, it was into the 70s, and my parents were watching the TV, saw the Osmonds and the Jackson 5. Mm-hmm. And, of course, my dad goes, the light thing went on, and he said, wow, if they could do it, maybe see if my kids can do this. And we kind of had a yard work business on the side. I did a lot of cut trees, people's yards on the side. And I just remember always doing that and, learning how to work hard, and which we started off. And then my dad came home one day and we just had a family meeting. My dad, what do you guys think, guys, if we got into music and we started a band? And I said, yeah, heck yeah. And, and so we had to kind of make a choice. You want to do yard working for the rest of our life? You guys want to do music? And so, of course, we all rose our hand. Yeah, let's do music. And right around 1977, I was 12 years old, and Elvis Presley died. And my parents were huge fans of Elvis. My mom and my dad, they loved the music of Elvis. And, said, I think that was kind of like said, okay, we're going to do music. And so I just remember I came back from school one day. We had my dad had bought a drum, guitar amp, bass, organ, everything, and put it in our living room there in Salt Lake City. And man, I was like, whoa, this looks great and all, but none of us knew how to play.
Right.
You know what I mean? So kind of scratching our head here, and Dad, how are we going to learn? He goes, well, in his broken English, don't you just go, you learn, so we learned from the radio. We didn't have that much money for lessons. I think I took 1 week, and then luckily my mom knew some chords, some basic chords, taught me the guitar and put me in charge of teaching everybody the instruments. So I learned the drums on my own and the bass, and I taught Rudy the drums, Heine the bass, and Kathy on the keyboards. And the first song we ever learned was "You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog" by Elvis. Mm-hmm. And what's the other song? Play That Funky Music. That was the couple of first songs we ever learned. And, when that happens, like, oh my gosh, I guess we can do this. So it gave us a little hope. And my mom was a hula dancer. She was involved with Polynesian entertainment in the Valley at the time. And she sort of taught us a lot of the dances and stuff like that. And so we started a Polynesian show review. And that's kind of what happened. And started traveling all over. And what happened at that point is my dad said, okay, this is getting serious. He worked for Safeway Milk Department, and being the entrepreneur, strong-minded person he was, he just told the boss, I'm quitting. And, he said, and he was just saying, boss was a little weirded out. Okay, you're going to quit? And he goes, yes, I want to quit, and he just said, I'm going to go. I don't want to make the kind of money I'm making an hour. My dad kind of said, I want to make $1 million an hour. That was his kind of mindset.
Right.
And so in his, it was so fun. My dad was such a go-getter, and he had a philosophy that we kind of ran by, and that's kind of what happened. And we literally, with $300, he got a motorhome. And after he got that, we went straight to Canada with $300, and we had a contract up there to do Polynesian shows. It was called the Kontiki Restaurant Series. There was one in Calgary, Vancouver, and we were up there for about 2 years. And it's just driven by my dad's faith, and let's do something with entertainment, And so as we went up and did that, we then returned back to the United States, had another call. Donnie and Marie had a show. It was their first movie called Going Coconuts. It was released in 1978. I don't know if you remember, they had the big Donnie and Marie show on TV. It was the big craze back in the 70s and the late. And they had previewed their show called Going Coconuts. It's a movie that they debuted, and they needed Polynesian dancers. And they actually hired my mom's group and my aunts, and Rudy and Kath, my younger siblings, they were on there. And so they were part of the premiere. And someone in the Midwest, the Cedar Rapids, of all places, Iowa, saw us on that. And they also had a Hawaiian chain called the International Hawaiian Hotels. There was one in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Des Moines, Minneapolis, and North Dakota. And so, so what happened there is we moved out to the Midwest. My dad's family thought we were crazy. What are you doing? Well, we're trying to make our goal. And
right.
My dad didn't finish school. He finished at 10th grade, I think, in the islands, and he was, he was teased. He was put down. You're never going to make it. You can barely speak English. You know what I mean? And you're going to go to the Midwest. Like 1,000 miles from Salt Lake. And my dad was fearless. He just, yes, we can do this. And that's what we did. We wound up in Des Moines and in Cedar Rapids, and we started doing this hotel chain. And I think we were there for about 4 years, and the place went bankrupt. And so we were there in 79, 80, 89, 90, 81, 82, 83, went bankrupt. We were literally stranded in Minneapolis, of all places. And I had just graduated high school, and we were trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? The plan was we were either going to go to New York or go to California and Hollywood and try to see if we can find a connection of some sort. But what happened was we had to change up our repertoire from Polynesian music and luau's to top 40 music. And my dad said, let's learn, let's pivot, and let's be a top 40 band. And that's what we did. In about 82, we switched, and we started playing clubs. In those days, clubs was a big deal in the Midwest. And, what was so weird about it is that we happened to be at the right place at the right time, because right around 84, this guy comes up. His name is Prince, from Minneapolis, blows up with a whole Purple Rain explosion. So you could have asked for the record labels from around the world in New York, LA. They were all flocking the Twin Cities. So we could have asked for the best accident that happened. Yeah, being at the right place, right time. And again, I just give that to my dad, because in the end we were trying to figure out, and he just had the strong feeling, no, I think we got to stay put. My dad's very religious, and he just said, I feel the spirit. I feel like the Lord needs us to be right here. And we followed his intuition, and boom, we met a guy named Don Powell. Don Powell, he discovered Iggy Pop, who better known as David Bowie, out in the UK. He managed Stevie Wonder for Motown and the Jacksons. And he retired and was living in Minneapolis. He's from Minnesota.
He happened to be living there as well. So Prince,
yes,
and then this guy's
is
living
amazing.
in Minneapolis, and you guys are there in Minneapolis. Amazing.
Yes. And what our agent at the time knew of Don Powell and said, Don, you got to come out and see these kids. I mean, I was 15 at the time, I'm sorry, about 18 at the time. And it just went down 18, 15, 14, 12, down to my little sisters. And it was a crazy schedule because we would go to school in the morning at 7, come back at about 3 o'clock, practice our brains off from about 3 to 7, get something to eat, rest for about an hour. And then my dad would get us all in the van and we'd go right to the clubs. And we would do 3-hour sets or 4-hour sets at these clubs. And we would just, and then it'd start all over the next morning. We'd get home at 1, make something quick to eat, sleep, back to school. I mean, we were kids, but looking back, I loved it. You know what I mean? It was just a don't, go get and very, my dad just said, we got to practice. We got to do this. If we're going to, make this, we got to make it and do it the way, my dad had 3 concepts that I remember. I kind of wanted to share with you guys is that, and it was in his broken English, like right. Number 1, philosophy my dad taught us. And I'll just say it in his accent. He would say, kids, don't be a bullshit. Meaning English, don't be a bullshit. And he always taught us, don't be fake.
Yeah.
Be real, always give 100%. He hated half-ass effort. And that's something he just, don't be a bullshit. And so that was something he would always say to us in our family gatherings and meetings. And I'm grateful because I look back to that. I attribute a lot of why I do what I do because of that. Second thing, philosophy that he would tell us is don't be too much wawa.
Too much wawa.
Don't talk too much. Yeah, that to translate, don't be too much wawa means don't talk too much. All right, and just go and the third thing that he always taught us, go do the thing. In Tongan, it means go do the thing, meaning go practice, do it. That was action, the action part of it. And so I attribute, a lot of just from those 3 broken English philosophies that I grew up with my brothers and my sisters. That's why we made it. I really believe that. And so anyways, we signed up with Don Powell. He became our manager.
Don Powell saw you guys. I mean, this dude, like you said, working with Stevie, David Bowie, that's phenomenal, right? You guys must be super excited.
Very excited. We lived right in Bloomington, Crystal, Minnesota, and he didn't live too far. We were at a Sheraton Inn lounge. We were playing 3 sets, and the agent invited him. He came over. He saw one of our sets. He was blown away. He actually snuck back the next night to see if it was real or not. And so that's when he said, "Oh, this is next Jackson's." You know what I mean? And of course, that led to we finally met him. We went to dinner. We got to know each other, and he said, "I've got to shop you guys." And he went to New York first and shopped us there. And what was kind of interesting, we were turned down at every label turned us down. There was a popular group called Menudo. And,
I remember
a lot of people were saying, you guys are like a poor version of Menudo. You know what I mean? And then he went to LA, tried to get a connection out there with all the big, Warner Brothers, and this different labels at the time. Same thing, just ran into wall after wall. And, our Don came, guys, I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't look like there's not too much, attention. But anyway, our tape and demo finally got to Gerald Busby of MCA Records, and it perked up his attention because, he saw that we're from this island called Tonga and piqued his curiosity. He wanted to see the band. And so we had a gig up in Reno at the Golden Nugget. We had our agent book us at a show that was a little closer to LA. And Gerald Busby and another guy by Lowell Salas, who founded a lot of groups, like New Edition and Bobby Brown, they came out to see our show.
Right.
And and so they left, they were completely floored. After everyone turned us down, these were like our last hope. And these two came, and we were signed with MCA, with Gerald Busby. He really loved what he saw. And that's kind of how that happened. You know what I mean? It was amazing. And, I kind of remember we were there for a week, and just to share this part of the story, which was just amazing. And I know, there's a living God up there, but the whole week we were there, the sound wasn't working. I mean, we literally we started on Tuesday, and then we're going to come on the Saturday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, the sound wasn't working. But what's funny is the band after us and the band before us, the sound worked perfect. And so Don Powell fired the first sound, fired the next one, came, tried to fix it. He couldn't, fired him. And then on Friday, same thing. There was just this weird thing that the sound wouldn't work. You know what I mean? And so my grandpa said, you know what, maybe let's say a prayer. Let's turn to God on this one. And so basically we said a prayer. We asked God, Lord, bless our sound system, bless the system. Anyway, long story short, brother, the Saturday, Lul and them came to the show. The sound was perfect.
Wow.
I don't know, but of course, I give all glory to the Lord. But that was an amazing situation. So anyway, we got the deal and we signed a $2 million contract, 7-album deal. It was unheard of back then in 1984 to sign that kind of a deal, with a nobody. And, and we came out, the challenge was how do we introduce this R&B group, but they're from Tonga.
Right.
And so the way, because that was just strange. No one has heard of Tonga,
Yeah, right.
And so, the MCA's approach was, why don't we not put their picture on the first single, which was Curiosity, and let's get that out to all of the record label stations and radio stations. And that strategy worked because they didn't know who it was. So it kind of was mysterious, but the sound was Minneapolis sound. We had two of our producers, Jerry Knight and Aaron Zigman. They wrote a lot of the songs for the movie Breakin'. I don't know if you remember, that came out. Yeah. Ain't no stopping us. Yeah, they wrote that stuff. They wrote,
I love that. No one does it better. Right. I love that jam. Yeah.
Right. And they happened to be writing some songs. Don Powell ran into them in Los Angeles. Said, wait a minute, I want this stuff for my new band, the family band. And they wrote Crush on You. And that's the main hit. And then we had Rupert Holmes, who also sang that song. Do you like pina colada? He wrote Got It All for us. And so that album, when they released it, it was just an amazing experience. That, dang, did we actually kind of make it? And I remember we were in Michigan. We were in Detroit, Michigan. And we were sitting watching. We were about to go to a breakfast or a meeting. We were watching, back in the day, they used to have the radio on the TVs in the hotel rooms. And I just turned it on, and Curiosity was blasting on the radio. I just got him, look, we're on the radio. And I went down the hallway and knocked on my mom's bathroom. My brother, we were like just screaming and yelling, enjoying the fact that we're hearing our song on the radio. But it was a trip, man. And it took us 7 years to get there. A lot of people don't realize that it took us time. It wasn't just overnight, you know what I mean? Right. And so there were struggles there, and but anyway, that's what happened. Then I guess I'll just keep going. I'm kind of going chronological here.
No, I love it. I love it. Please do.
No, okay. So after we got the first few hits, we did our first tour, and it was with Kool-Aid Coolers. I don't remember the Kool-Aid. We did a whole endorsement with them, and they did our whole first tour. It was called the Crush Tour.
Yeah.
Yes, and had Crusher 2 was our first top 10 pop hit, and it went all the way to number 3 on the Billboard hits, and that was a fun year. I mean, we were touring with everybody, and just had a blast. We did our first 80 city tour, and
80 city
tour, and that was our first tour. And we also teamed up when we did, I don't know if you remember, back then they had the New York Fresh Fest. They had, the Fat Boys, the Beastie Boys. LL Cool J. we did some shows out with him at the Apollo, and that was another dream come true. I mean, we were on the
Apollo.
bus, with
That's
the family.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Living the life, I guess you could say, but it was neat because I was able to do this with my brothers and sisters and my parents. Mm-hmm. And I look back and my parents were so proud that we hung in there, you know what I mean? And followed his 3 Tongan philosophy points, and that's what happened. And, so as we did the first tour, we actually did Oprah Winfrey's we were one of the first bands on Oprah Winfrey's show, and did all the talk shows. We performed at the White House for Reagan. We were invited for the Easter pageant and did that. And then we after a year, we came back. What happened was then the next thing we had the second album, which was even bigger than the first album. And that was the Magic LP. That came out in 1987. We also started showing up on movie tracks. One of our songs worked at number 10. It was a Beverly Hills Cop with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
And that song was a top 10 hit for us. Cross my broken heart. There was a huge hit on that film soundtrack with Eddie Murphy. And again, another blessing. That was a top 10. And then we had Make It Real. It was one of our ballads. And it kind of went up the charts as well. It actually was an accident because we actually had a song called Rock It To You, which my brother sang. That actually got us a Grammy nomination, our first Grammy nomination for Best R&B Vocal in 1988. But as that was kind of coming up, another station in Miami was playing Make It Real. And it caught fire on its own. And
that was a slow jam. Give me one more chance to. Oh,
yes,
man.
Real.
Yeah. Oh, that's the jam. Yeah.
Yeah. But, and what's so amazing, Coach V, is that we are so humbled. We are still hearing radio. I mean, I heard it on Spotify. I mean, these guys they're still playing our stuff. And I just scratch my head. Wow. You know what I mean? And, so we did that in 88. We did a world tour at that point. Right after the Crush tour, we did our first world tour. After the US 80 tour, we did Europe, Asia. Japan was awesome. I mean, we won the Budokan Award. We won the award in Montreux Festival as the best new act, and just had a huge following in Asia, in Kuala Lumpur, Hong Kong. And that, again, was just another experience of witnessing that side of the world. You know what I mean? And we did 3 world tours on that whole deal. We played the Seoul, Korea Festival in front of 88 million people. We did the main entertainment, and the King of Tonga. They all came down there and everything. And and then I think in 1989, we finally was able to go back to our motherland, Tonga. It was so exciting for my parents. And so what we did is we tried to get them to put some shows, but none of the people could really afford the tickets. So we said, screw it, let's do free concerts. And so we did, I think it was like 7 back-to-back stadium free shows for the people of Tonga. It was an honor. And we first performed on the King's, right in front of the lawn of the palace, did a free concert for him and the nobles, and then was able to meet the king. And then we, did all the shows. They even put us on the stamp. I don't know if you do it. In 1988, if you look it up, we're on the Tongan stamp.
Right.
That was such an honor. And, and we look at that, and we're always told the world we're happy to tell the world about who Tonga is and what that's about, and at least share that part. But it was such a trip, and we did a whole Polynesian tour, New Zealand, and that. And then we came back, and then after that,
before we
things started to slow down.
LeRoy, real quickly, I mean, how proud your parents must have been to go back to the motherland with featuring not just a band, but a world-renowned band. Talk about, just the pride in that for your parents to have left so many years prior to now return 20 years later with a worldwide recognized success story, not just an American success story, not just a Tongan success story, but a worldwide success story off of three main approaches. Don't be a bullshit. Don't be too much. Don't be too much wah, and go do the thing. I mean, talk about that. I mean, I think we have to visit that because, as parents, I mean, it's a validation. It's also that we represent, because you were representing Tonga on the world stage, and frankly, the only people that have, right? Then now in the Olympics, we have people in the NBA and the NFL. But before that, and Vi Scott Hemmer was around at the time in the 80s in the NFL. But still, it was like you guys and Vi. That was about it, right? So talk about that for your parents and the gratitude and the love and the pride that gave you and your brothers and sisters. Because your mom and dad must have been gleaming. I mean, to be at the palace, come on.
Yeah, no, what's amazing, Coach, is that 7 years before, maybe before we even got the record deal, I remember specifically my dad called a meeting and he called us down and he said, "Kids, I just had a dream." And this was normal. I mean, my parents would have these weird dreams, but my dad began, and my uncle was there from visiting a relative. And he had said, "I saw a dream. We came off a plane and the people of the Tongan was everywhere and we were welcomed and I met the king." But he was sharing his dream. And then he said, "I know we're going to be in Tonga one day."
7 years prior. 7 years prior.
Yes. And I remember my uncle saying, "Oh, you're talking gibberish."
Right.
Yes, how the Tongan kind of mock, that's not going to come true. But lo and behold, those 7 years later, that actually came true. I got pictures to prove it. My dad shaking the king's hand and meeting. When we got off the plane, it got in late. We were supposed to come in at 7 p.m., but it landed in Nuku'alofa at like 4 a.m. Bro, right. There was about 30,000 Tongans. They were at the field
wow.
at the airport. And when we came out, they had the bands playing. The royal family was still waiting there.
Yeah.
Later, I'll have to show you the footage, but it was a blessing. My parents were like, "Oh, and my dad said, "This is what I saw. This is what I saw."
Yeah. So thanks for sharing that. And just for your brothers and sisters at that time, could you just share with us how it made you feel? Because you guys were used to the recognition worldwide, but now this is different because these are the people, right? These are your people. And not that you were just happy for that recognition, but that your parents got some recognition of like, these are our kids and we brought them home. Talk about that.
No, you're totally right. And, the reason why I put that flag in the back of me, because I believe in the American dream.
Me too.
My dad was such a believer in that you work hard. We came out of nowhere. We're like, who the hell are these kids?
Yeah.
What the hell is Tonga? Like, well, what the heck is this? And my dad proved that, yes, you put your heart, you practice, you do what you got to do the thing, you're going to make it. And so thank you. No, that's what happened, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was a blessing for us kids to see that realization come true in my parents' lifetime. It was like full circle, that dot connected.
Yeah.
And so after that, we had the album, and then we kind of entered the 90s. The music scene changed. Everything changed. A lot of the music changed. If you remember, it was the Nirvanas, it was the rock that started coming back. We started becoming irrelevant, just the sound. Everyone was kind of tired of the 80s stuff. Mm-hmm. And in 92, that's when 7 years, we what do you call it? MCA dropped us as a band. It was not really that fun, but we had we went through that hard time, and the band, we kind of took a break, and everyone started getting married for about 92 on. And, we just kind of wasn't doing music for them. We all started having kids and getting married and getting that side of the life together. And about 15 years later, we got together and did a reunion show in Minneapolis. It was our 25th anniversary. And we did that, and it was great. And we decided, hey, why don't we pick this back up again? And which we did. We started picking up, but then we realized, a lot of us grew up. We were kids at the time, but now that we're in our adults, so there were a lot of differences, with musical taste, with style. And so what happened, a lot of us didn't agree with a lot of things, and I want the world to know we're not a perfect family either. We had our sense of drama, even to the point, brother, that we went through a lawsuit. I mean, it was ugly, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was ugly. It was the brothers, mom, dad against my sisters. We were just, going against each other in 2016. Not good at all. You know what I mean? But what I can gladly say and update you after 5 years of that horrible time.
Wow.
And thank goodness to my dad and his patience, he brought us back together again about a year ago. We were able to forgive one another and realize that time is short, life is short. And, through that whole journey, we came together and it happened. And then my dad died about a few months later. But the fact that my dad and mom was able to see us, go through that hell and then come back together, now we're stronger than ever, and we're doing that. It's crazy. I also had a personal situation where in 2016, I almost died. In our Wolfgram family, we have a lot of, in our DNA, it's heart issues. And so I have heart failure. And I remember there was the day I was not feeling good, go back, and doctor says, you've been having these heart attacks, and so long story short, I had a double bypass heart. They cut me open. My dad had the same thing 10 years earlier, and then I had it in 2016. And so I'm a survivor, and I feel like God gave me a second win, bro. Gave me a second chance of life, and so we got back into it. And my music career, to be straight up, it just went to the toilet. I mean, it was just a hard time, just like anything. Yeah. I want to let people know, yes, we had that glory days, but then we went to the toilet. And I mean, I even remember I was working at Walmart again. I was working. I was like, there was people who would recognize, wait, are you LeRoy of the Jets? Yes, I am. What are you doing here? Yeah, I'm working like everybody else, man. right. I had to, eat some humble pie, but I don't care. I got to feed my kids. But anyway, yeah, it was humiliating, to go from these albums and, all this stuff and back to working a regular job. And then luckily in about 2019, Rudy gives me a call. Roy, we just got a call from a casino that wants to have an 80s show, especially you guys, the Jets. They want to do something. I said, hell yeah. I said, yeah. And then, dude, I just threw, I was driving for Lyft and Uber and then doing Safeway and Walmart. I said, hell yeah. I just threw all that down. I said, where do we start? I just put the show together, and we started in 2019. We did like 3 months, then the pandemic hit. Boom.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh my God, does this stuff ever stop? You know what I mean? Roadblock after roadblock. Anyway, we were shut down in March of 2020.
Yep.
All the way to 2021. So we were doing nothing. That's when I got into real estate. My friend goes, well, what are you doing now? What are you going to do now? I go, well, do real estate. So I don't know a damn thing about real estate. So I got into that. And so anyway, in August of last year, they finally opened up the casino, and we just went full on August all the way to January of this year. And we actually won one of the prestigious awards here with the Las Vegas Journal called the Best of series. And we won the Best of Family Friendly Show. So I can say, hey, I've got an award-winning residency show here in Vegas.
In Las Vegas. Las Vegas. That's phenomenal. Vegas,
yes. And so I feel like my whole career has been resurrected, even though we've had our splits, my family's back together. I'm not fighting with my sisters anymore. There are 2 Jets out there, but me and my brothers have started kind of a tribute show, but we do all our hits called the Jets 80s, 90s Experience. And that's right there at the V Theater at the Miracle Mile Mall. And my sisters Eddie, Kat, and Moana, they still, and Liz that here and there, they perform as well. So now we just support each other. I love it. I love where I'm at, glory to God, you know what I mean? And glory to the Lord, that it's like all of this thing, what looked like disaster or like a dead end,
right,
is actually panned out good. And I just thought, I just need to let the people know it's a journey, man. You go through up, down, up, down. I mean, it's not this smooth ride up,
Yeah, and let me just tell you, I saw you. So we both know Hola Matuapuaca and Bill,
Yes.
right?
Amen.
So Bill,
Yeah.
those are my peeps, right? So they posted something about you guys being the best show, best family show, 80s hits, right? And then so
Yes.
I featured it on LinkedIn, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm connected with LeRoy on LinkedIn, right? So I'm like, wait a minute, is this the same LeRoy? So then I saw that you liked a couple posts, and then I'm like,
yes,
it's the same LeRoy that I listened to as a kid, growing up in the 80s. And it happened to be, and I reached out to you and you got back to me like right away. Like, why do that? I mean, you know what I mean? And I reached out for you because I wanted to get you on the show. I want to eventually get, your sisters on the show as at work, and your brother, and just continue to just, because these are some freaking valuable life lessons, right? Because I teach them as a success coach. So I wanted to have you come on the show, and then you got back to me. Why get back to me so quickly? Somebody you don't know. And what about, and you talked to me about what you talked about with this heart condition is, like, you want to impact, not only do music, and you're grateful for the resurrection of their music career with you and the family, you guys are back together, but you also mentioned when I first connected to you that, V, I have a story to tell. Now that I almost died, I got this story I want to tell, right? I was like, great, because I want to get you on my show. So what is that all about, and why get back to me so quickly?
No, Coach V, Viliami, dude, you are the bomb. When I would
appreciate that.
Go on LinkedIn, and I follow a lot of your mindset, the things that you talk about. It just reminded me a lot about how my dad thinks. Same style, same kind of oomph and philosophy. And dude, whoever's out there, please follow Coach V.
Oh, I appreciate that.
He's excellent, and it always uplifts my heart. And on top of being a fellow Tongan, and just the fact that you've proven yourself to be a success in the world, you know what I mean, with what you do. I'm no different. I'm just trying to do my little lane, stay in my lane, and do my thing with music. And how blessed I feel, that the dots in a weird way connected, kind of like what the
on
LinkedIn
founder. from a message from me, like we connected. That's amazing.
It is, and that's why I always say to when people ask, well, what's the key word? I really, there's many. I think the first thing is focus on what you can control. Don't try to, focus things that are just out of your hands, right? Get with control, and don't be scared of fear. I grew up in the Michael Jordan era, when Michael Jordan was asked, what makes you great? I failed. I'm not afraid. And so I'll come back with that. That's my generation, and with these young people and whoever are business owners, you can't be scared to fail. And one thing my dad he'd always champion, don't ever give a damn about the people think. He would say, he'd always rebut and say, do they feed you? He goes, no, they don't feed me, Dad. Okay, that's the point, I say. He would say, if people don't feed you, why are you concerned about what they have to say or their opinion about something, about what you're concerned about? And so I'm really grateful for that simple island style fob, I guess you could say,
real talk
mentality that I'll never forget.
And so in that, we're everybody, welcome to the Coach V Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have the honor and the privilege to feature LeRoy Wolfgramm here on the Coach V Show. And in that, we are part of the show where we're going to be asking LeRoy, hey, LeRoy, what's your message to the world? What continue to promote? How do people get a hold of you? When is your show? When can we watch that? And then lastly, his shout out. So let's start with the beginning, LeRoy. What is LeRoy Wolfgramm's message to the world? Take about a minute, please.
Okay. Just again, you have a dream or a talent that you have Don't be afraid to exercise it, to develop it. Go for it. Put 100% into it and not fear and compare yourself. You're unique. Go for it. There's nothing to lose.
I love that. And in that, let's remind the audience about your award-winning, best-selling, featured in Las Vegas, your family show, best family show in Vegas. What days are that? How do people buy tickets? And how do we continue to support by buying your music? Where can we find your music, buy your music, and all that? Please, LeRoy.
Sure. Thank you. We perform every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 6:30 p.m. at the V Theater, located at the Miracle Mile Mall, and it's inside the Planet Hollywood Casino, right there on the center. And like I said, we take you on a journey of my era, the 80s and the 90s, including all of our hits. And just bring your dancing shoes, dress up in your 80s garb and your 90s, and just come and have a great time. We're ready to rock with you.
No, that's awesome.
And you can get tickets, at vegas.com. Really easy. Vegas.com is where you get tickets.
Vegas.com. Okay, what about, how do we follow you? So I know I follow you on LinkedIn, right? At just LeRoy Wolfgram. How else? Do you have a social media handles? Does the Jets have a social media handle at all?
And Facebook, just type in the Jets Original Family Band.
Okay.
The Jets Original Family Band. And that's our Facebook page. And you can also follow us on Instagram with the same name, the Jets, the Original Family Band. And you'll see us there. It has the same logo on, you'll notice on there. And you can also follow my sisters. They have a site, and it's called The Jets. And you can follow what they're doing. We support one another. They're also on Instagram as the 80s Jets with Juana and Eddie. And we are actually working on some shows that we're going to do together, some reunion shows. So stay tuned for that.
Oh,
so,
that would be great.
Well, stay tuned.
Yep. Let's go shout outs, Brother LeRoy. Who would you like to shout out on the Coach V show?
Oh, man. Shout out to Hola. Hey, thanks, Hola.
Yeah, shout out Hola. Status, hashtag status.
Love what you're doing out there. Keep it a good a spirit out there. Man, my family, my sisters, gee whiz, anyone who's out there striving to do something, man, shout out to you, bro, and sisters.
Yeah. What about wifey? Because I often talk to, especially when I get an opportunity to speak to high school and college kids, I often talk about spouses, and I think that's one of the number one decisions, business decision. It's more important than college decision. It's more important than career choice. I think a spouse and having good relationship, and then your relationship with your kids. Shout out for the fam. What you got?
Absolutely. I shout out to my wife, Anna. She, like they say, behind every great man is a great woman. And I couldn't be where I'm at or do what I'm doing without my sweet wife. And I'm so grateful for her and my 3 boys, or their sons now, they're in their 20s. But it's just been a blessing. And all I can say is positivity is the key word. Be positive, my brothers and sisters. Be positive. Love life, man. Even me, who almost died, I'm 56. Life is rocking, bro.
I love that. Bro, you're 56. When you said that on the phone the other day, but we've talked on the phone a few times, right? But we haven't had a chance to Zoom and see each other until this interview here. You look great, brother. You look great.
Thank you.
So talk about how. Go ahead.
No, because my heart, it literally is at 15%. Humans are at 75. I'm at 15. And I told the doctor, is it okay for me to jump around on stage? He goes, absolutely. That's actually good for the heart. It exercises it. You know what I mean? But I feel good. My energy is all over the place. I have nothing to complain about. So people are shocked. And my friends, dude, you're you're moving around that much on stage? He goes, yeah, man, I love it. It's just like it's literally a splice of 1988. If you come see the show, you'll see what I mean. We're rocking everywhere.
So we're texting each other for everybody in the audience, right? That's listening in. We text each other, and then I sent LeRoy the promo image, right? That the station made, that Island City made, and he goes, "Hey man, should I send you a different picture?" And I'm like, "No, I love this picture. It's you like rocking away." I'm like, "I love that. That's it. Like living to the full." So thank you everybody for tuning in to the Coach V Show. At this point in time, we are putting on Brother LeRoy on the Coach V hot seat. I will be saying a phrase, a Coach V quote, and then we're going to get Brother LeRoy's take and what comes top of mind, his opinion, his perspective on my Coach V quote. Now, I don't have, but I am adding this somehow to what I do is, don't be too much wah-wah. I mean, that is going to be my deal. It's like, don't just talk about it, be about it. That's like the 90s phrase from my high school time in Pomona, right? But here's the first Coach V quote I love to get your thoughts on, LeRoy, is, hey, what you get is part of it. Who you become is everything. Your thoughts on that, LeRoy?
That's just absolutely true. I mean, you put a vision board and think about, you become what you think and what you believe in. And so 100% agreed.
Very good. Next one is about relationships, where Coach V's #1 business quote, just floating around out there in America, is, there's money in the transaction, but the wealth is in the relationships. Let me say it one more time, Brother LeRoy, then we'll get your thoughts. There's money in the transaction, but the wealth is in the relationships. Coach V quote. Your thoughts, LeRoy?
3 words. Talk to people. TTP. That's from my friend Brett Daniels. You got to open your mouth. A closed mouth doesn't get fed. You open, and you'll be surprised how the universe opens up to you. Talk, ask. You'll be amazed where you can get.
That's right. Because I mean, that's how we connected, right? Correspondence.
Exactly.
Make connection. Human connection is like, okay, I don't know LeRoy, but I'm just going to reach out to him and go, hey, brother, thanks for being connected here. I'd love to connect for a Zoom call when you get a chance. Next thing you know, boom, just like that, right? Man, reach out.
Thank you.
I love that. No, thank you, brother. Thank you as well. Thank you. And then the last Coach V quote is talking about overcoming struggle, which you guys did for 7 years to get where you are. I mean, the fact that none of you had formal lessons just floors me, LeRoy, that you guys just actually picked up the instruments and figured it out on your own. But here's the quote that I would love your thoughts on is, life is struggle, struggle is life. Misery, is optional. One more time, life is struggle, struggle is life. Misery is optional. Your thoughts, LeRoy?
If a man that was born with no arms, no legs, if he could do what he did and successful, I forgot his name. There's also the one that won the best chef. She was blind with Gordon Ramsay, blind as a bat.
Oh, the speaker is like Vujicic or something like that. I forgot his name. Yeah, he's a speaker all over the world. Yeah,
he speaks and he doesn't have anything like that. And that was so inspiring to me. I have nothing to complain about. I have nothing. I mean, if I were to lose my fingers, I couldn't play guitar. Of course, if I had the heart and I learned how to play with my tongue or my teeth. But the point is, I agree.
Yeah, very good. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Brother LeRoy. Before I close off the show, I just want to give you the floor. Take 2 to 3 minutes to talk about your experience here and any parting words that you feel comes to your spirit or your mind that you would like to just articulate and convey to the audience before I close off the show. The floor is yours, brother.
You know, I just know that, you know, whether you're starting a business or you're in a relationship or just anything in life, I mean, I'm just speaking for me. I'm a very religious person. I believe in a living God, but you can apply faith to anything, you know, and if you have that faith and the drive and the practicality to pay the price of whatever you're aiming for, pay it, move forward in that faith. and you'll do what I did, and be prepared for failures, be prepared for major setbacks, but don't let it dictate. If I let the setbacks that I went through in the 15, 12 years that I went through, I would have never had not only kind of a comeback with the Jets 80s 90s experience show in Vegas and doing what I'm doing now. I just would have been miserable. I mean, I even had thoughts of just calling at the end, why live? But then I said, no, I will live, because my assignment on this earth ain't done yet.
Say that again. Say that again, LeRoy. My assignment on earth. Say that again.
Well, I know that my assignment on earth is not done yet. I've got work to do that God has given me, and I'm going to live to finish it. And I know y'all can do too. And Coach V, you got it too, brother.
Amen and amen. I received that word. I received that word. And thank you so much, LeRoy, with all that you have going on, that you would take an opportunity to spend an hour on a show with us here at Island City on the Coach V Show. And to everyone out there, thank you so much. That is the show and the episode for this Motivation Monday here on Dash Radio, empowered by the Island City Media Group. And I just want to say this. It is not just for the sake of success that Brother LeRoy is here and I. It's just talking about these things, but really, I feel like it's for the sake that all of us be our best. In doing so, we realize the best of our abilities, and that everything, and they are a testament. The Jets, the mom and dad, the entire 17 siblings, they're a testament to that everything that we dream and work for can be achieved. This is how your boy, Brother LeRoy, and your boy, Coach V, lives, all about faith and family. Grateful for God's amazing grace. Until next Motivation Monday, thank you so much for tuning in. It is your boy, Brother LeRoy from the Viva Las Vegas, Nevada, and your boy, Coach V from Elk Grove, California. Until next time, one love, mad respect. Live it. Peace.
Yeah.